As we get set for another presentation of Capital Football here on athletics.capital.edu. I'm Charlie Danis. I'll be bringing you all the action today. It is another OAC affair between two longtime rivals as Capital gets set to play host to the Pioneers of Marietta. Let's go ahead and tell you how each of these teams did last week. We begin with the Pioneers, who come into this game with an overall record of 1-1 and 1-0 within OAC play. Marietta was picked to finish fourth, according to the OAC preseason coaches poll. They lost their season opener at Dubuque by a final of 30-25, but they were able to bounce back last week by shutting out Muskingum by a final of 18-0. It was a pretty inconsistent day, a very uneven day for their quarterback Connor Vierstra. Vierstra going 14 of 37 through the air, good for only 38%. 183 passing yards, did have 3 passing touchdowns, but also threw 2 interceptions. Now the Pioneers offensively, they've been helped out tremendously by their star running back Bryce Agnew. Agnew, 22 carries, 127 rushing yards last week in the win over Muskingum. He averaged 5.8 yards per carry in that win over the Muskies, and this is a guy that is very much accustomed to going over 100 yards. In fact, he has tallied 100 or more rushing yards in 4 of his last 7 starts. So it's going to be imperative for Capital to try to clamp down on this running game for Marietta and make things harder for Viestra by taking away one of his big weapons, that being the running back Bryce Agnew. Couple of guys to keep our eyes on defensively today for Marietta. We start with Drake Newberger. Newberger, a senior defensive end. He had 9 sacks last season. That led all of Division III. So this guy has made a habit of getting to the quarterback a lot. In fact, he comes into this game with 16.5 career sacks. So Capital's going to have to block that guy up front. Marietta also has a standout defensive back, Tay Pryor, a cornerback for this Pioneers squad, is tied for 3rd among active NCAA players. That includes all levels, Division 1, 2, and 3 in career passes defended, 47 coming into this game for Pryor. Now on to Capital. 1-1 overall on the season, 0-1 within OAC play. They started off the year with a blowout win over Defiance, but last week was a very tough day at the office for Capital as they fell to Heidelberg 48-17. This was a game in which Heidelberg possessed a 28-0 lead early in the second quarter, and this was all off of passing touchdowns of 25 or more yards. Drew Sims simply had a day to remember for the Student Princes, 25 of 42 through the air, 373 passing yards, 6 passing touchdowns, and 1 interception. His big-time target that day happened to be Dimitri Pennick, who had 10 catches for 125 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. So the bad news for Capital was that they weren't able to defend the pass all that well against Heidelberg. But if there is one silver lining to take away from that game, Capital only allowed 63 rushing yards to Heidelberg. Now, why would you say that'd be a positive? Well, this is a Student Princes team that averaged nearly 200 yards on the ground a game last season. So clearly things are going in the right direction for Capital from a defensive standpoint, in that they were able to hold one of the best rushing attacks in all of Division III football to under 100 yards. So that is something that Capital can hang its hat on. A couple of standouts for Capital from that game offensively. Trevor Harrison-Ron, who we will talk more about in just a moment, goes 5 of 7 for 45 passing yards and a passing touchdown. And it was also a good day for running back Lance Matthews, 8 carries, 70 yards for that young man. Okay. So why talk about Trevor Harrison-Ron? Well, we were told moments ago that it's not going to be Luke McCarroll starting at quarterback for Capital today. Instead, it is the graduate senior from Canal Winchester, Ohio, about a 20-minute drive southeast of here in Bexley, Trevor Harrison-Ron. As we mentioned, Harrison-Ron got some playing time in the loss to Heidelberg last week. He is a transfer from Heidelberg. Kind of ironic that he was able to play against his own team and get a passing touchdown as well last week in that loss to the Student Princes. So Trevor Harrison-Ron will be your starting quarterback for Capital today. Going to be very interesting to see how he is able to go out there. He's got weapons to work with. We have talked about how Capital has got a boatload of weapons, particularly in the passing game. Cam Lee, he had himself a great day against Defiance a couple of weeks ago. Mike Smith had a receiving touchdown last week in the loss to Heidelberg, so it'll be interesting to see how Trevor Harrison-Rod acclimates himself and plays with the home crowd in front of him. We got a packed house here at Bernlohr Stadium. A lot of fans made the trip from Marietta, and a lot of Capital faithful have shown up for this game as well. It's going to be a cloudy afternoon here in Bexley, Ohio. If there is going to be rain, only a little. Not expecting a torrential downpour or anything like that. Quite the change from a couple of weeks ago when we had absolutely gorgeous weather here in Bexley, as a breeze, more like a wind, is blowing through Bernlohr at the moment. A gentle wind at that, so it should not play havoc with the kicking game all that much for the team or anything else, for that matter. The passing game as well. So otherwise, pretty much normal football conditions. This feels like football weather. As we get a quick look here, the forecast here in Bexley. Right now, temperature is 64 degrees. The high is expected to be 66. And unfortunately, we'll be dealing with clouds all afternoon. The sun should be peeking out here around Bexley sometime around 4 or 5 o'clock, but by then our game will be well over at that point, but we shall see. Otherwise, we got good conditions here for what should be a very competitive game. Capital coming into this week pretty confident. The loss to Heidelberg, it is a loss, but Coach Brian Foos and his coaching staff took that game as a learning experience for this Capital team, and hopefully today Brian Foos will be able to get his first win in OAC play as head coach of Capital this afternoon. We will take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the opening kickoff. We'll be able to get things started here at Bernlohr Stadium. Marietta and Capital coming up here on your home for Capital Football, athletics.capital.edu. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome into Bernlohr Stadium. Welcome into another presentation of Capital Football here on athletics.capital.edu. I'm Charlie Dana. So glad that we could have you along for the ride this afternoon as both teams have taken the field. Capital playing host to the Pioneers of Marietta today. The second game of OAC play for both of these teams. Last week, Marietta shutting out Muskingum by a final of 18-0. Capital, meanwhile, still looking for their first win in OAC play. They were thumped by Heidelberg 48-17 last week, so they're looking to get that bad taste out of their mouths by trying to pick up a win here today against the Pioneers. Capital coming out in their customary purple home uniforms, purple trousers, white helmets with the capital C on each side of the white helmet. Meanwhile, Marietta, white jerseys, silver numerals outlined by navy blue, silver trousers with white stripes and blue stripes on the side of the trousers, and a pretty neat helmet design. It is a white helmet. On the left side of the helmet are the numerals that correspond to the jersey number, and on the right side, the customary Pioneer logo for Marietta. Once again, a very cloudy day here in Bexley as temperatures have cooled quite a bit here in central Ohio, but should not have any rain. If there is any rain, just a little, from what I've been told. Capital will receive to begin this ball game. Lance Matthews and Sam Pickett back to receive for Capital. And kicking things away for Marietta will be Matthew Haas. Both teams ready to get things going. We're just waiting for our officiating crew to be all set. Our head referee today will be Steve Grove.
Kickoff, number 5, Lance Matthews, and number 14, Sam Pickett for Capital.
And now Haas has the ball on the tee. We are ready to go here at Bernlohr Stadium. Marietta and Capital. Haas, a right-footed kicker. Toe meets ball, and we are underway here in Bexley. Pickett will take it at his own 8-yard line to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, across the 30, and finally tackled at the 32-yard line. A good return that time by Sam Pickett, senior out of Cincinnati. The starters for Capital offensively. The left tackle, Trey Hunter. Left guard, Creed Tack. In the center, Travis Honecker. The right guard, Kevin Cuervo. And the right tackle, Brady Kuhn. The wide receivers we'll see today, Cam Lee, Sam Pickett, Mike Smith. Lance Matthews will get the start at running back for Capital. And at tight end, Christian Riley. And at quarterback, Trevor Harrison Ron, graduate senior out of Canal, Winchester, Ohio. 1st and 10 for Capital from its own 32-yard line. The throw, it is complete to Mike Smith. Smith across the 40 and tackled at the 41-yard line. So good start as Harrison Ron is able to find Mike Smith, the 6'3", 205-pound senior out of Upper Arlington, Ohio, on the far sideline. Good pickup on the play. It'll lead to a 2nd and short situation. So the ball spotted at the Capital 41-yard line after the completion to Smith. In the shotgun is Trevor Harrison Ron, and now he will hand, and a run play up the gut. And to the 45-yard line goes Lance Matthews, the 5'10", 170-pound junior out of Pickerington. That'll result in a Capital first down. Good start here for Capital offensively. Harrison Ron in the shotgun in a 3-wide receiver set. He'll take the snap, play action. He'll look deep, and it is incomplete as that short hopped its way to Mike Smith on the far sideline. The defensive starters for Marietta at the defensive end positions, Drake Newberger and Chance Knight. The defensive tackles are Simon Sean and Kyle Gallagher. The linebackers, Kyle Folker, Vic Giovango, Luke Watt. The cornerbacks are Jalen Kiero Gordon and Tay Pryor, and the safeties, Malik Greer and Darius Hatch. 2nd and 10 for Capital from its own 45-yard line. And it'll be a carry. Out to about the 47-yard line, as that was a carry by Lance Matthews once again. And now a 3rd and long situation. That was actually a gain of 1, so they'll give him the 46. Sets up 3rd and 9 for Capital. 13-26 and counting here in the first quarter. We still have no score between Capital and Marietta. A 4-wide receiver set. Harrison Ron in the shotgun. He'll take the snap, sets back, throws as he's hit, and it is complete into Marietta territory. Down to the 43-yard line. First down for Capital. Noah Meeker, the senior wide receiver from Powell, Ohio, making the catch for Capital. And now, for the first time today, Capital finds itself in Marietta territory offensively. So this has been a good drive so far for Capital. 1st and 10. The ball spotted at the Marietta 43-yard line. Harrison Ron in the pistol. Takes a snap, and now he will hand. And that was a time where Marietta was able to stand up Lance Matthews in the run game. Defensively leading the charge that time was Drake Newberger, 6'2", 198-pound senior out of Norwalk, Ohio. Talked a little bit before the game about how Newberger, one of the top sack artists in the OAC, 9 sacks last season, led all of Division III, has 16 and a half career sacks heading into play today. Loss of 1 on the last play, 2nd and 11. A throw, and it is almost picked off. Dangerous pass that time as Malik Greer almost had a shot of picking that off. Luckily for Capital, it went off the fingertips of the 5'9", 165-pound senior from Huntington, West Virginia. If Greer is able to secure that catch, that might have been a pick six. In the meantime, though, Capital lives to fight another play. 3rd and 11. Capital at the Marietta 44. Harrison Ron back to throw, pressure, and it is incomplete. The intended target was Mike Smith, and that ball might have been batted away at the last moment by Darius Hatch, 5'9" senior from Mesa, Arizona. So unfortunately, that offensive drive will come to an end for Capital as the punt team comes onto the field, but an excellent opportunity here for Cam Lee to really pin back Marietta. Lee waiting for the ball at his own 41-yard line. And back to receive for Marietta, Austin Veach. Kick is away. It is a wobbler. Veach calling for a fair catch. And this one will go way out of bounds. It'll be interesting to see where they spot this one, and it looks like they will spot it at the 23-yard line. So now we get to see Marietta's offense for the first time today. Connor Vierstra is the starting quarterback for the Marietta offense. Cleveland Wilder, the left tackle. David Bush, the left guard. Zach Turkowski, the center. Garrett French, the right guard. Colton Neptune, the right tackle. The wide receivers we'll see is McGuire Morris, Austin Veach, Clay Maston, Bryce Agnew, standout running back. He'll start. And Bobby Kashaw is the tight end. 1st and 10 for Marietta from its own 23-yard line. Still no score between Capital and Marietta. Swing pass complete out to the 30 and to the 40-yard line. That's a nice grab. Connor Vierstra with the pass. And Marietta now going with some up-tempo here as Agnew slashing his way to midfield into Capital territory across the 45, inside the 45, down to the 43-yard line. Nick Vasonic making the tackle for Capital. And boy, Marietta is now going at warp speed here as they're already set up and ready to go. Vierstra over to Agnew. Agnew along left tackle inside the 40, down to the 35, inside the 35, down to the 34-yard line as the tackle was made by Louis Hairston. Very quickly to the line goes Marietta. The ball at the Capital 34-yard line. A 4-wide receiver set for Vierstra. Agnew once again inside the 30, 25, down to the 19-yard line. As Agnew just continues to chew up yardage here for this Marietta offense. 1st and 10 at the Capital 19-yard line. Vierstra in the shotgun, 4-wide receiver set. Another hand to Agnew. No, it's a play action. Vierstra will throw, and that will be incomplete. The intended target, Dawson Snyder. Defensive starters for Capital. Des Turkson and Jack Blaisdell at the defensive end positions. Kobe Swackheimer's your defensive tackle. The linebackers, James Curtis, Nick Vasonic, Mike Luafo, and Matt Luafo. The cornerbacks, Malik Davis and Louis Hairston. The free safety, Baylor Aparius, and the strong safety, Chad Davis. 2nd and 10. Marietta at the Capital 19-yard line. Vierstra in the pistol. 2 wideouts to his right. Agnew still in a tailback. Vierstra takes the snap. He'll throw to his left, and it is complete. Down to about the 11-yard line, and making the catch is McGuire Morris, the 5'10" senior from Dover, Ohio. And Marietta already with a play in mind. On a 3rd and short. 4-wide receiver set. Agnew still in at tailback. The hand is to Agnew, and Agnew is able to pick up the first down as he rumbles ahead across the 10 down to the 8-yard line. So a first down for the Pioneers. It'll be 1st and goal for Marietta from the Capital 8-yard line. 10:05 remaining in the first quarter. No score between Marietta and Capital, but the Pioneers are now knocking on the door. Once again, a 4-wide receiver set. Vierstra in the pistol. Agnew will now be split out wide to the right. Vierstra with a quick throw into the end zone. Touchdown, Pioneers. Austin Veach with the 8-yard touchdown reception, and just like that, Marietta is on the board. Man, Marietta moving down the field with great efficiency, with great pace. And that has allowed them to jump out to an early lead. Now, Matthew Haas is on for the extra point. He missed not one but 2 extra points last week in the win over Muskingum, so something to keep our eye on today. Haas with his first extra point attempt of the day. Snap down, hold is good. It's up and good. We'll step aside for just a moment. 9:50 left to go in our first quarter. It is Marietta 7, Capital 0. This is Capital Football on athletics.capital.edu.
Number 38, Matthew Haas.
An 8-yard touchdown reception. The V connection, Connor Vistra to Austin Veach. That's what's allowed Marietta to jump out to a 7-0 lead with 9:50 left to go here in the first quarter. Capital looking to mount a response offensively here as they will get another chance at a kickoff return. Pickett will take it at about his own 8. He'll advance it up the field to the 10, to the 15, and he'll be taken down.
Returning the kick for Capital, number 14, Sam Pickett.
Looks like at about the 19-yard line. Well, the last time we saw Capital's offense come out onto the field, they were moving the ball, but they were stopped as they just got into Marietta territory. As now they're taking a look at an injured player. Looks as though that is Drew Engel, redshirt freshman out of Lorain, Ohio. And Engel able to get to his feet as he gets back to the Capital sideline. I'm still marveling at how proficient Marietta was on that last offensive drive, not only being able to pick up big yardage, but the quickness, the up-tempo style that they had offensively on that last drive. Very reminiscent of Chip Kelly's teams when he was at Oregon. Meantime, Capital trying to look for a response. 1st and 10 at their own 19. A swing pass, Lee making the catch. 20, and he'll drag a couple tacklers with him as he's eventually taken down. Looks like at about the 23-yard line. Gain of 4 on the bubble screen.
9-yard gain on the play, 2nd and 1 on the 23.
Now Trevor Harrison Ron in a 4-wide receiver set in the shotgun, play action, quick throw, almost intercepted. Now a flag is thrown at the Capital 38-yard line. The pass was batted down by Darius Hatch. Pass interference is going to be called against Capital. The penalty will be declined by Marietta. So now it is 3rd and 7 for Capital from its own 23-yard line. Trevor Harrison Ron will set up in the gun. 3 wideouts to the far side, 1 to the near side, and in at tailback, Lance Matthews. Harrison Ron takes the snap, settles back, looking, scrambling, and he'll be sacked. Sacked back at the 16-yard line. Kyle Gallagher, 6 foot, 260 pounds, senior defensive tackle out of Chesterland, Ohio, brings Harrison Ron down behind the line of scrimmage. And just like that, Capital will be forced to punt.
Fourth and 14 on the 16 for Capital.
And Coach Brian Foos is very upset about something as he talks with one of the referees on the near sideline.
13, Austin Veach is back deep to receive the kick from number 7.
Meantime, Austin Veach getting set to return this kick for Marietta. And now a flag has been thrown, as now a delay of game is going to be called against Capital.
Delay of game against Capital, 5-yard penalty from previous spot, remains fourth down.
So now Cam Lee
14-19 on the
will have to punt from his own end zone. Veach will move up to his own 45. Cam Lee gets it away. Wobbly kick, it'll hit at the Capital 43. And now we'll take a Marietta roll out of bounds, and great field position upcoming here for the Pioneers as it will be spotted at the Capital 43-yard line. Well, last time we saw the Marietta offense moved down the field with great efficiency, eventually leading to an 8-yard touchdown reception by Austin Veach. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Marietta from the Capital 42-yard line. Bierstra in the shotgun. He will hand to Agnew. Agnew running to his left, looking for some blocks, and good job by Capital defensively. Des Turkson and Nick Fasonic combining on the tackle. And that will go down as a loss of 1 for Agnew. It is not very often that Agnew goes backwards, but Capital able to force that on that last offensive play for Marietta. 2nd and 11 after the loss of 1. The ball will be spotted at the Capital 43-yard line. Bierstra in the shotgun. 3 wideouts to the far side, 1 to the near side. Agnew still in a tailback. The give is to Agnew once again, and Agnew is swallowed up by a swarm of purple jerseys. Nick Fasonic once again sticking his nose in there defensively for the purple and white, along with James Curtis. So no gain on that last play. 3rd down and 11 for Marietta from the Capital 43. 3 wideouts to the far side, 1 to the near side. Bierstra in the gun with Agnew on his right hip. Snap is taken by Bierstra. Goes back to pass. Looking, and it is caught. Caught at the Capital 31-yard line. That will result in a Marietta 1st down. A clutch catch made by McGuire Morris, and that will keep the Marietta drive going. Marietta slowing down the pace just a tad, not going at warp speed like they were on their first offensive possession of the game. It's Bierstra working with 3 wide receivers. Agnew still in a tailback. A man is put in motion, and he is given the ball. It's a sweep to the left, inside the 25, down to about the 23-yard line. That was Dawson Snyder, a 5'10 freshman from the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He takes it inside the 25, down to about the 23-yard line.
7-yard gain, 2nd and 3 on the 23.
Gain of 7 on the last play. Bierstra looking for some guidance from the Marietta sideline. Now he has the play in mind, and a 4 wide receiver set. They'll put Bobby Kashaw, the tight end, in motion. And now penalty flags will fly everywhere. Looks like it'll be false start against Marietta. Back up the Pioneers by 5 yards after that penalty. 5:47 left to play in the first quarter. An early 7-0 lead for Marietta, thanks to a 7-yard touchdown reception by Austin Veach. 2nd and 8. Veach in the gun once again, 3 wideouts. And the tight end, Bobby Kashaw, in there as well. Agnew still the tailback. Veach takes it, throws, and it is caught at the 20-yard line. The catch made by Austin Beach, who scored earlier in this game. So that is a gain of 8 on the play, and it sets up a crucial third down for both teams here. Third and about 2.
Second and 8 on the 20-yard line. Correction, first down.
Beach in the shotgun. That actually resulted in a first down, by the way, that last play, as Agnew able to rumble ahead. He'll spot the ball at the 14-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 7 on the play. Fasonic. Boy, we've been calling his name a lot so far defensively, haven't we? Making the tackle once again for Capital. 3 wideouts to the far side, 1 to the near side. Agnew still in a tailback. Vistra in the pistol. Takes a snap. He will play action, and it is complete. Complete to the big tight end, Bobby Kashaw, senior out of Aliquippa, Pennsylvania.
To number 8, Bobby Kashaw, making the tackle.
So Kashaw making the catch on the play for Marietta, and another first and goal situation for the Pioneers as the ball is spotted at the Capital 6-yard line. First and goal for the Pioneers. Agnew still in it, tailback. 3 wideouts for Vistra to work with, 1 to the far side, 2 to the near side. And they're back in that pistol formation. And it'll be a play action throw into the end zone, and that'll be another touchdown for Marietta. Clay Maston, the 5'10 senior from Springfield, Ohio, making the touchdown grab from 6 yards out. And now Marietta an extra point away from going up 14-0. Snap back, hold down, kick is on the way, and it is good. A tremendous start for Marietta as we take a quick timeout. 3:34 left to play in the first quarter. The Pioneers leading Capital 14-0. This is Capital Football on athletics.capital.edu. Back here at Bernlohr Stadium, 3:34 remaining in the first quarter. Marietta out to a 14-0 lead against Capital. Now Capital will try for a response here offensively, going 3 and out on their last offensive series. Kickoff will be taken by Lance Matthews. 10, 15, 20. 25, and he'll eventually be taken down around the 27-yard line. It has been a day so far for Marietta quarterback Connor Vierstra. 7 of 8 through the air, 2 passing touchdowns, no interceptions. He's thrown for 68 yards. But more importantly, he is completing his passes at a very high clip, about 88%. And that's big for a player like Vierstra, who came in here completing only 45% of his passes. Also been a good game today for Bryce Agnew. 7 carries, 49 yards. He's been averaging 7 yards per carry, has a long of 16 on the day. Meanwhile, Capital looking for an answer here offensively. 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line. Catch made by Pickett. Now it's thrown deep, and it is caught at the 40-yard line. 35-30, all the way down to the 26-yard line. A little trickeration pulled by Capital as Noah Meeker is able to make the catch down the field. And for the second time today, Capital finds itself in Marietta territory. First down, Capital. That sure was a great play call right there by head coach Brian Foos. And that woke up the crowd here at Bernlohr Stadium as well. First and 10 for Capital from the Marietta 26-yard line. Matthews with the carry. Tries a little spin move, but boy, he's met by a wall of Marietta defenders as he's eventually taken down at about the 24-yard line. Making the tackle on the play for Marietta was Chance Knight, 6'3", 245-pound sophomore out of Bridgeport, Ohio. Gain of 2 on the last play for Matthews, so sets up a 2nd and 8. The ball is spotted at the Marietta 24-yard line. And a wildcat formation, a wildcat formation, as this will be a run inside the 20, down to about the 16-yard line. That was Drew Engel taking the snap from center, with a couple of his running back mates on either side. And it looks like Engel is going to be staying in there for the time being. Engel's back there with Matthews as well as Tyson Shuttler. Engel once again taking the snap. He'll hand to Matthews. Matthews up the middle. Inside the 15, down to about the 12-yard line. And so now, after that decent game by Matthews, this will set up a 2nd and 6 situation for Capital. So the ball will be spotted at the Marietta 12-yard line. Approaching a minute and a half remaining here in the first quarter. Marietta 14, Capital 0. But Capital trying to make a bid for his first touchdown of the day right here. Drew Engel putting a man in motion. He'll take the snap. Now he'll run with it. Inside the 10. Engel dragging a couple tacklers with him down to about the 6-yard line. That will be a gain of 6 for Drew Engel, and that should be enough for a Capital first down. So the first and goal situation for Capital this afternoon, as coming back in at quarterback is Trevor Harrison-Ron. 3 wide receiver set. Matthews staying in there at tailback for Capital. First and goal for the Marietta 6-yard line. Harrison-Ron in the shotgun. Matthews on his right hip. Man put in motion. The give is to Matthews, and he'll be promptly bopped at the 5-yard line. But a penalty flag has now been thrown. And it looks as though that it's going to be a false start penalty against Capital, which it will be. So the 5-yard penalty will back Capital up to the Marietta 11-yard line. It'll still be first and goal. And now Drew Engel and Tyson Shuttler will come back in as Harrison-Ron will head back to the sideline for Capital. And so far, Capital's been getting a lot of positive yardage out of this nifty running back formation. Engel fakes the handoff. He'll run forward, and now he'll exhibit some strong running, churning out some tough yards that time, as he'll be spotted somewhere near the 10-yard line. He'll only go down as a 1-yard gain, but credit Engel with a nice effort that time, trying to get as much as he can. And that is going to be our final play of the first quarter. Well, impressive start for Marietta. They will lead Capital 14-0 heading into the second quarter, but Capital trying to find the end zone for the first time. It'll be a 2nd and goal situation for Capital when we come back. This is a presentation of Capital Football on athletics.capital.edu.
Back here at Burnlor Stadium, where we are about to get the second quarter started.
Marietta leading Capital 14-0. Marietta getting the scoring started with an 8-yard touchdown reception by Austin Veach. That was then followed by a 6-yard touchdown reception by Clay Maston. So far today, 2 passing touchdowns for Marietta's quarterback Connor Vierstra. 7 of 8 through the air, 68 passing yards, the 2 passing touchdowns, and a completion percentage of about 88%. But now Capital has a chance to get in the end zone here. It'll be 2nd and goal from the Marietta 10-yard line. A man is put in motion. Harrison Ron back to throw to the end zone. It is almost picked off, but it'll go down as an incomplete pass. Vic Giavengo defending on the pass as Harrison Ron was trying to throw one to Michael Smith towards the back corner of the end zone.
3rd and goal on the 10-yard line.
So now it'll be 3rd and goal for Capital. The ball still spotted at the Marietta 10-yard line. And if you're Capital right here, if you don't get into the end zone, you would at least like to have a positive play that would allow you the opportunity to possibly go for it on 4th down. Let's see what happens. Harrison Ron back to pass. He'll throw to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown, Capital! Harrison Ron went back to the exact same spot. A better thrown ball results in a 10-yard touchdown reception by Michael Smith. And just like that, Capital gets on the board. That was a bullet thrown from Harrison Ron to Michael Smith. That's got to feel good if you're the purple and white. Snap back, hold down, kick is on the way, and the extra point is good. Quick timeout, 14:50 to play here in the 2nd quarter. Marietta 14, Capital 7. This is Capital Football on athletics.capital.edu.
Updates and once more, that's at @cap_athletics.
Marietta 14, Capital 7 with 14:50 remaining here in the 2nd quarter. Let's check some other scores around the OAC while we have a moment. They're about to start the 2nd quarter at Baldwin Wallace. The Yellow Jackets trailing Heidelberg in that one 7-zip. Mountain Union out to a 7-0 lead over John Carroll with 3:40 to play in the 1st quarter. Wilmington with a slight 7-6 advantage over Muskingum with 2:27 left to play in the 1st quarter. And finally, Ohio Northern out to a big lead over Otterbein. The Polar Bears leading the Cardinals 20-0. Still with a little over 3 minutes to play in the 1st quarter in that one.
Number 41, Eric Noble to kick off.
So now, kicking off for Capital is Eric Noble. This is a short kick. It'll be taken by one of the upmen at the 25. And now it's shuttled back to one of the returners who will be promptly taken down at the 35-yard line. Making the catch initially was Joshua Pennington, but then he threw it over to his teammate Darius Hatch. Hatch got what he could, and this will be decent field position to begin this latest offensive drive for Marietta. Quick look at the team stats here. So far, Marietta with 56 rushing yards, 68 passing yards, 81 passing yards for Capital, only 18 rushing yards for the purple and white. So now it'll be 1st and 10 for Marietta from its own 35-yard line. Vierstrup puts a man in motion, 3 wide receiver set. Agnew on the tailback. Vierstrup will now throw, and the pass is complete over the middle to the 45, out to midfield, barely into Capital territory, and now the ball comes loose, and it's recovered by Capital. Nick Masonic is the guy that comes up with the loose ball for Capital. Trey Baldwin, wide receiver, a junior out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, just dropped the football as he got swarmed by a whole bunch of Capital defenders. And now an opportunity for Capital to possibly tie this bad boy up. Boy, I tell you what, Nick Masonic has had himself a heck of a game so far. The former Upper Arlington Golden Bear playing lights out at that linebacker position for Capital. So now it's 1st and 10 for the purple and white from its own 49. Harrison Ron, pass incomplete as he was trying to hook up with Mike Smith around the 45-yard line of Marietta. In the vicinity defensively for Marietta was Tate Pryor, the senior defensive back out of Canton, Ohio. Coming in at tailback for Capital is Drew Engel. And Sam Pickett will now exit the ball game for the Crusaders. They'll keep Harrison Ron in. Ron will set up in a pistol-like formation. Matthews on his right hip, Engel right behind him. The give is to Engel. Engel at the 50-yard line, and he'll eventually be taken down at the 49. So only a 2-yard gain for Engel on the run play, and already a 3rd and long situation. Pickett, along with Ben Zerbe, check back into the game. And as Capital will look to air it out here. Staying in at tailback is Lance Matthews. Harrison Ron relaying the play to his offensive line on this 3rd and 8 from the Marietta 49-yard line. A 4-wide receiverette. Trips to the near side. Harrison Ron taking the snap, back to throw, looking, scrambling to his left. Now he'll run for it, midfield, and he will eventually be taken down. Let's see here. The spot will be at the 44-yard line, it looks like. He will be 3 yards short. Does Capital think about going for it? Looks like Brian Foos was not too pleased with the spot. And it looks like Capital is going to punt the ball away here.
Number 7, Cameron Lee to punt.
Still much too early to gamble with field position. So unfortunately for Capital, they're not able to come away with points following the turnover by Marietta. But again, an excellent opportunity here for Cam Lee to pin the Pioneers deep. Lee takes the snap, gets it away, high wobbly kick. This will bounce at the 15, inside the 10, and will tightrope the 5. It'll finally be down at the 5-yard line.
Number 26, that's the punt for number 7, Cameron Lee. Marietta has the ball.
Nice punt by Cam Lee. It's now a long field to work with here for Marietta. 12:49 left to play in the second quarter. Marietta leading Capital 14-7. This is by far the longest field that Marietta has had to work with. As they start this drive in the shadow of their own goalpost. Bierstra in the shotgun. 2 receivers to each side. Agnew, the tailback on Bierstra's right hip. The give is to Agnew. Agnew up the middle. And Agnew will churn out some yardage. He'll take it down to the 12-yard line. So that'll be a gain of 7 on the play for Bryce Agnew, junior running back. 5'8", 210-pounder out of Cleveland, Ohio. Played his high school ball at Berea Mid-Park. The give once again to Agnew. Agnew trying to slash his way to more yardage. And now he'll eventually be taken down at the 15. That's a gain of 4, and that'll be enough for a Pioneer first down. Agnew coming into play today, 249 rushing yards, 4th best in the OAC. Coming off of a 127-yard rushing performance against Muskingum last week. And now Marietta spreading the field a little bit. 3 wideouts to the near side, 1 to the far side. Agnew stays in at tailback. Bierster, meanwhile, takes a snap. It's a play action. They're setting up a screen, complete to the 15, down to about the 19-yard line. Not a lot of yards that time for McGuire Morse, senior wideout out of Dover, Ohio. It'll be a gain of about 4. Now Luofo with the tackle on the last play. Bierstra in the shotgun. Trips to the far side. 1 to the near side. Agnew still in at tailback, and now Bierstra wanting to change the play here. Relay of the signals from the Marietta sideline to the Marietta quarterback. Vierstra now takes the snap, looking, throwing, and complete to about the 29-yard line. As the catch is made by Austin Veach. Capital defenders trying to rip at that ball, trying to poke it loose. But Veach doing a nice job of hanging on to the football, and that results in another Pioneer first down. Lewis Hurston was the first guy there defensively for Capital. 1st and 10 now for the Pioneers from their own 29-yard line. Vierstra in the gun once again. Agnew to his left. Vierstra will hand to Agnew, and Agnew will be slowed up at the line of scrimmage. Nick Vasonic dragging him down. So is Des Turkson, the junior out of Canal, Winchester, Ohio. It'll be gain of 1 on that last play for Agnew. 2nd and 9. Ball spotted at the Marietta 30-yard line. 10-11 to play in our second quarter. Marietta 14, Capital 7. Vierstra working with 3 wideouts. Agnew, the tailback, on Vierstra's right hip in the gun. Now he switches sides. He's on Vierstra's left hip this time. Vierstra waits for the snap, takes it. Look downfield, rainbow shot down the far sideline, and it's incomplete. And now a flag will come out. The pass was incomplete. Defending on the play for Capital was Malik Davis. And as you can hear from our crowd, Mike, the purple and white faithful are none too pleased with that call. So, the pass interference call will go against Capital. A 15-yard penalty. It will move the ball to the Marietta 46-yard line. And there are still a lot of Capital fans upset about that previous call. 1st and 10 for the Pioneers. 3 wide receiver set. Vierstra hands to Agnew. Agnew bouncing it off to the left side, midfield in the Capital territory, rumbling and stumbling down to the 45-yard line. Gain of 9 on that play for Bryce Agnew. Compact fella, 5'8", 210-pounder, but very quick feet. It's no wonder that this young man is one of the leading rushers in the Ohio Athletic Conference. 2nd and 1 for Marietta from the Capital 45. Vierstra with Agnew right behind him in the K-gun. And now Agnew will pick up the first down just barely as he's tackled at the 42-yard line. That will result in another Pioneer first down.
Number 20, Mike Waffo with the tackle.
Waffo with the tackle for Capital. And Marietta, unlike their first drive, taking their sweet time with this offensive drive. The first drive, it was wham, bam, let's get the play in. Warp speed, it seemed like. This drive, much more relaxed, much more patient in getting the play in and then trying to execute the play. 1st and 10. Marietta at the Capital 42-yard line. It's play action. A throw to the near side, caught at the 31. Inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. Austin Veach was wide open on the near side as he makes another catch and another first down for Marietta. Boy, it has been a very good day for Veach so far. It is already his 5th reception of the game. Already has a touchdown as well. 1st and 10 for Marietta from the Capital 27-yard line. Vierstra in the shotgun. 2 wideouts to the near side, 1 to the far side. Vierstra will hand off. Trickeration. Looking downfield. Throw. It's incomplete. off the fingertips of Derek Witzberger. It was a double reverse that ended up in the hands of Austin Veach. And Veach not able to complete the pass to his teammate Witzberger, backup tight end from St. Clairsville, Ohio. You know, upon further reflection of that play, Veach probably would have been better off just trying to run for it and pick up some yardage. 2nd and 10, Marietta from the Capital 27. Play action, and Veach is hit hard, but completes it to the 29-yard line. It was complete to McGuire Morris, but he is instantly swallowed up by Capital defenders. Knifing his way in there is Louis Hurston, the junior from Lima, Ohio. Chad Davis also teaming up with Hurston on the play defensively. Loss of 1. So big third down here for the Capital defense. 7-12 and counting in the second quarter. Marietta possessing a 14-7 lead over Capital. Fierstra in the shotgun. 3 wideouts to the far side, 1 to the near side. And the tailback is still Agnew. Fierstra back to throw. Passing incomplete. And now a Capital player looks to be injured at about the 10-yard line. The pass was intended for McGuire Morris. And now they're going to have to take a look at the injured player. Looks to be Malik Davis, the freshman defensive back out of Middletown, Ohio. He had a heck of a debut in the season opener against Defiance, where he had not 1 but 2 passes intercepted. And Davis on that last play went up and collided with a teammate. We hope that it's not too serious. Davis is a player that head coach Brian Foos is very excited to have on this team. I had a chance to talk with my longtime friend, Matt Money, who is the offensive coordinator for Middletown High School. And you know, I was telling him about how Malik flashed big time in the season opener against Defiance. And my friend Matt told me that Malik actually has a nickname, Popcorn. And the reason that he has that nickname, Popcorn, is that he was always bouncing around with a big smile on his face. He was a good locker room guy for the Middletown Middies. And that's what Capital has in Davis, who looks to be okay for right now as he heads to the Capital sideline. Meanwhile, Marietta's going to go for it here. 4th and 11 for the Pioneers. From the Capital 28-yard line, Fierstra back to throw, surveys the field, and he will throw incomplete. The pass intended for Bryce Agnew. It falls to the turf, and that'll be a turnover on downs for Marietta. The crowd wanted a holding penalty as Fierstra was scrambling to his right, trying to find a target. And so now Capital getting a chance here offensively with 6:46 left to play in the first half. This has been an exciting game. Marietta leading Capital 14-7. Back to pass is Jake Wyke. In at quarterback. Popped up in the air and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Marietta. Making the catch is Vic Giovango, the senior from Benwood, West Virginia. That is why you practice the tip drill. So Jake Wyke, the junior from Cincinnati, Ohio, checks in at quarterback, and his first pass play is tipped up in the air and intercepted by Vic Giovango. And just like that, Marietta has the ball back with excellent field position. 6:39 left to play in the second quarter. It's Marietta 14, Capital 7. Fierstra once again in the pistol. Agnew right behind him. Fierstra takes a snap. It's a play action. A throw down the field towards the end zone, and it's picked off. Picked off by Baylor Aparius. Baylor Aparius making the interception, the junior from the Queen City of Cincinnati, Ohio. So right after Capital turns the ball over, Marietta gives it right back. I tell you what, football can be one crazy sport. So since Aparius made the interception in the end zone, it will come back out to the Capital 20-yard line. And back in at quarterback is Jake Wyke, Jr., out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Attended Oak Hills High School. Back during his prep days. Wyke takes the snap, scrambling to his right, throws, and it looks to be complete, and it is complete to Cam Lee on the far sideline, albeit for a 2-yard gain. And on the coverage defensively for Marietta was Jalen Quiero Gordon, the sophomore defensive back from Westerville, Ohio. Attended Westerville South, 3 high schools located in Westerville. Westerville North, Westerville South, and Westerville Central. 2nd down and 8. Play action, throw, Wyke, complete out to Cam Lee. Spin move across the 40, down to the 41-yard line. Big pass play there and a first down for Capital. So Trevor Harrison Ron gets the start at quarterback, but now Wyke checks in at quarterback for Capital. And a free play, Wyke will throw, and it is incomplete as it bounces off the hands of Cam Lee, but luckily for Capital, one of the defensive linemen for Marietta jumped. Offside's the call against the Marietta defense as the sun has come out to shine here in Bexley, Ohio. Oh, what a pleasant sight that is. 1st down and 5. The ball spotted at the Capital 46-yard line. Wyke in the shotgun. And Drew Engel in at running back. Wyke back to throw. And he's hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. Wyke trying to connect on that play with Christian Riley, freshman tight end out of Circleville. So now it sets up a 2nd and 5 for Capital from its own 46. 5:43 left to go in the second quarter. Marietta leading Capital 14-7. Wyke back to pass, sets up a screen. Engel with the catch, 45, midfield, 45, 40, 35, 30, inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. A well-executed halfback screen as Drew Engel draws Capital deeper into Marietta territory. Up tempo now for Capital. And now Wyke will look to the Capital sideline for some guidance. It'll be a 1st and 10 for Capital from the Marietta 27. 2 wideouts to the near side. 1 to the far side, that being Cam Lee. Engel still in there at running back. Wyke throwing. Cam Lee making the catch. And Lee is instantly swarmed at about the 21-yard line, and they will call him down. As Cam Lee was able to hold on to the football. Gain of 5 on the play. That will lead to a 2nd and 5. Cam Lee and Noah Meeker split out wide to the left. Engel still in at tailback. Wyke will put a man in motion. Takes a snap, will hand to Engel. Engel inside the 20 and rumbling his way inside the 20 down to the 16-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the play for Drew Engel, and that results in another Capital first down. Good push up front by that Capital O-line. And Capital is now in business here offensively. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Marietta 15-yard line. Cam Lee and Sam Pickett in at wide receiver. Engel still in at tailback. Wyke calling the play at the line of scrimmage. He'll now back up and settle in the shotgun. Engel on his left hip. Wyke with a man in motion. And now the give is to Engel. Engel up the gut. Inside the 10, down to the 9-yard line. Gain of 6 On the play for the redshirt freshman from Lorain, Ohio, Drew Engel. Now Engel will get a breather. And back in is Lance Matthews, the junior out of Pickerington. Three split out, wide to the left. One split out, one to the right, and Cam Lee. Matthews the tailback, Wyke goes back to throw to the end zone and incomplete, but pass interference is going to be called against Marietta. The foul occurred in the end zone. Malik Rear was caught holding. Rear is senior defensive back out of Huntington, West Virginia. So now Engel will check back in along with Tyson Shuttler. Shuttler, a freshman out of Bluffton, Ohio. The ball will be placed, looks like at the Marietta 2-yard line. Engel will be taking the snap in this Wildcat-looking formation. Joined in the backfield by Shuttler and Matthews. And now, whistles, and a timeout is going to be taken by Capital. 3:08 remaining in our second quarter. Marietta 14, Capital 7, but the Capital with a chance to potentially tie this game up. Stay tuned for our halftime show. We'll get you caught up with scores around the OAC. Also, update you on some Division I football games that are being played here early this afternoon. On to OAC scores right now while we have a moment. Ohio Northern leading Otterbein 28-7 with 2:50 to play in the second quarter. 6:27 to play in the second quarter at Muskingum. Muskie's looking good against Wilmington. They lead the Quakers 20-7 in that one. Close ball game between Mount Union and John Carroll. The Purple Raiders leading the Blue Streaks in that one 14-7 with 8.5 to play in the second quarter. And finally, a tied game 7-all between Heidelberg and Baldwin Wallace. 3:38 left to play in the first half of that one. First and goal from the Marietta 2-yard line. Back in is Jake Wyke. Wyke back in at quarterback. Engel on his right hip, Matthews on his left. Wyke takes the snap. He will throw to the end zone. Mike Smith had the catch, but it was broken up at the last moment by Jalen Kiero Gordon. Smith had it in his grasp, but it was broken up at the last moment by Kiero Gordon. So now it'll be second and goal from the Marietta 2. Once again, Engel and Matthews in at tailback. Smith split out wide to the left. Engel trying to fight his way forward, but he'll get blasted at the 3-yard line. That'll end up being a loss of 1 on the play for Capital. And now a crucial third down here as we tick under 3 minutes to play in the first half. Marietta leading Capital 14-7, and boy, if you're Capital here, you would hate to have to settle for a field goal. You want to be able to stick this ball into the end zone and give yourself plenty of momentum heading into the second half. Third and goal from the Marietta 3. A receiver to each side of the field. Matthews still in at running back. Wyke in the shotgun. Three seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and Capital will call a timeout as the play clock was about to run out on them.
Timeout on field, Capitals timeout, second charge timeout.
Second timeout of the half for Capital. They still have 1 remaining, 2:14 left to play in the first half.
The Ohio State Wexner Medical Center.
Pretty special day here at Capital. Coming up at halftime, they're going to be honoring members of the 1970 Capital football team. They were named Stag Bowl champions. It was quite a ball club back then. They weren't able to celebrate their 50th anniversary last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But today, they will get their recognition. In the meantime, the current football team for Capital back onto the field. Big third down here. 3rd and goal. Capital at the Marietta 3-yard line. Wyke in the shotgun. Takes the snap. He'll throw, and it's incomplete. The pass was intended for Mike Smith. Jalen Kiero Gordon in on the coverage for Marietta. And Capital will have to settle for the field goal there.
Capital attempt and extra point attempt. Extra field goal.
Eric Noble on for the chip shot field goal for Capital. Right-footed kicker out of London, Ohio. Snap back, hold down, and it's blocked. Blocked by Marietta. Oh, boy. A very disappointing ending to what was looking like to be a promising offensive drive for Capital. So not only can they not punch it into the end zone, but they can't even knock through the field goal. That's a tough pill to swallow for Brian Foos and his crew. So 2:04 left to play now in the second quarter. It'll be 1st and 10 for Marietta from their own 7-yard line. And Marietta still has all 3 of their timeouts in this half. Connor Vierstra in the shotgun. Agnew with the carry. And Agnew is tripped up at the last moment. Boy, if he isn't tripped up, he could have gone for big yards that time. Out to the 13-yard line, gain of 6 on that last play. Marietta quickly to the line. 3 wide outs. Another run for Agnew. And Agnew this time swallowed up by that Capital defense. Jack Blaisdell amid a host of Crusader defenders on that play. So now 3rd and 5 for Marietta from its own 13-yard line. Vierstra will throw. It's complete to Agnew. Out to the 20-yard line.
Half by number 16, Connor Vierstra is complete to number 24, Bryce Agnew out.
And apparently our head referee, Steve Grove, has forgotten that his mic is on.
Force him out of bounds, number 27, Louis Hurston. 1st down and 10 on the 20.
In the meantime, back to the field, 1st and 10. Ball at the Marietta 20. Pass is complete to Veach, who was promptly dropped on the play by Malik Davis. Good to see Malik back in there. And now, looks as though that a timeout's going to be called by Marietta. It will be the first timeout of the half for Marietta. They still have 2 remaining here. 1:05 remaining in the second quarter. Marietta 14, Capital 7. And boy, this has been a bonkers second quarter, really, for both teams. There was a stretch where Marietta had an interception and then gave it right back on an interception of their own on the very next offensive play. Capital, meantime, with what looked to be a very productive drive, driving all the way down to the Marietta 4-yard line, only to be denied by Marietta on a blocked field goal attempt. And the fans giving Steve Grove a lot of grief, as it looks as though that He has finally turned his mic off. 2nd down and 6. And a weird play as Agnew's able to make the catch to about the 36-yard line. And that was very strange in that you didn't exactly hear a whistle letting you know that we were getting back to play following the timeout. 1st and 10, Marietta at their own 40. Pass, incomplete. The intended target was Veach, and the pass breakup, credit that to Louis Hurston. He's had himself a good game out there, cornerback, junior from Lima, Ohio. 46 seconds remaining in our first half. Marietta with the ball and leading Capital 14-7. Connor Vierstra in the shotgun. 3 wide to the far side, 1 to the near side. Agnew in at tailback. Vierstra back to throw. Looks to the near side, and that's incomplete. Hurston in on the coverage once again as he was covering Veach. Pass sailing out of bounds on the near side. And now a 3rd and long, 3rd and 10 upcoming here for Marietta. The ball still spotted at the Marietta 40-yard line. Should be noted that Capital does have 1 timeout remaining. Vierstra in the shotgun, and he will give it to Agnew. Agnew, 45, midfield, and he picks up the first down for Marietta. Oh boy, tough break for the Capital defense right there. Clock will start, 32 seconds and counting. Marietta trying to get a couple more offensive plays off. Vierstra takes the snap, looks downfield, caught. Out of bounds, around the 36-yard line, it goes Veach. Stops the clock with 22.9 seconds to go in the first half. It'll be 1st and 10. Vierstra once again on the shotgun. 4 wide, 3 to the far side, 1 to the near side. Vierstra scrambling to his right, throws, and it is caught by the tight end Bobby Kashaw. It will be spotted at the 32. Gain of 4 on the last play. 16.4 seconds to go in the first half. Trips to the near side, 1 to the far side. Vierstra in the gun. Takes a snap, runs to his right, throws, Kashaw wide open and taken out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Scoring him out of bounds defensively was James Curtis.
Bobby Kashaw, first down. Making the tackle, number 6, James Curtis. Well played, first down.
So it'll be a 1st and 10 for Marietta. The Pioneers have been doing a great job of not only catching the ball, but getting out of bounds, conserving as much clock as they can. And now a timeout is going to be taken by Marietta as they will talk things over. We have one game in the OAC that's gone to halftime. Still tied 7-all between Heidelberg and Baldwin-Wallace. They're just about to go to half at Ohio Northern. The Polar Bears looking good, leading Otterbein 28-7 in that one. Mountain Union has just scored. They now lead John Carroll 14-7. Actually, I take that back. Mountain Union was up 14-7, still up 14-7, with 2:13 left to play in the first half of that one. Muskingum all over Wilmington, 34-7. 2:37 left to play in the first half of that one. And that's it when it comes to action across the Ohio Athletic Conference. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Marietta. The ball is spotted at the Capital 24. 10.4 seconds to go. Each team with a timeout remaining. Let's see how Marietta plays it here in the waning seconds of the first half. Vierstra with 3 wideouts. He'll put Veach in motion. Takes the snap. Looks downfield. Over the middle. Tipped and incomplete. Off the hands of Nick Fasonic. I think Kashaw, the tight end, was the intended target that time, but somebody's signals got mixed up. And so now, 5.4 seconds remain in the first half. And it looks as though the Marietta is going to settle for a field goal here.
Matthew Haas attempting a field goal.
This will be on a 44-yard field goal. And now, timeout's going to be taken by Capital, as Brian Foos will attempt to ice the kicker, that being Matthew Haas.
That's the third charge timeout for Capital.
Haas, a 6 foot, 245-pound freshman from Cheswick, Pennsylvania. Talked about this early on in the game. In their win against Muskingum last week, Haas had not one but 2 extra points that he missed. One was a miss of his own. The other one was blocked. This time, a little more distance. The ball is going to be put down at the Capital 31-yard line. Snap back, hold down, kick is on the way. It is up and it is no good. Missed it. Wide right. And that is how the first half will end. At halftime, Marietta leading Capital 14-7. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll update you with scores around the OAC as well as some around Division I football, and we'll also examine the stats from that first half of play. Again, the score, Marietta 14, Capital 7, halftime here at Bernlohr Stadium. This is a presentation of Capital Football on athletics.capital.edu. Halftime here at Bernlohr Stadium. And at the half, they were honoring members of the 1970 Capital football team, Stag Bowl champions. That team going 8-1 that year and being named Stag Bowl champions. Very good to see those gentlemen out there on the field as they celebrate their 50th anniversary a year late. They weren't able to celebrate it last year because of the pandemic, but they get their recognition today. Very good to see them here in Bexley, Ohio. Halftime here at Bernlohr Stadium. Marietta leading Capital by a score of 14-7. Before we dive into the stats of this game, let's get you caught up with some scores around the Ohio Athletic Conference. We begin at Baldwin-Wallace, the Yellow Jackets, tied with Heidelberg, a score of 7-7. Drew Sims, who tossed 6 touchdown passes against Capital last week, has struggled in this game. 13-21 through the air, 151 passing yards, no touchdowns, and he has also thrown a pick. Touchdowns by Jace Grossman of Heidelberg and John Murray Jr. Baldwin-Wallace, those have been the two main scores in a 7-7 game between the Student Princes and the Yellow Jackets. Elsewhere, around the OAC, this is usually a very competitive game. Mountain Union at John Carroll, and they have just gone to the half in that one, and it's Mountain Union leading John Carroll by a score of 21-7. The Purple Raiders once again picked to finish first in the Ohio Athletic Conference, and so far it has been an excellent game for their quarterback Braxton Plunk. 28 of 33 through the air for 239 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, completing 85% of his passes, and he does all this in the first half. Excellent first half for the Purple Raiders quarterback in that one. Meanwhile, Jake Floria, 8 of 17 through the air, does have a passing touchdown, but has also thrown an interception in that game for John Carroll. Muskingum, meanwhile, a week after getting shut out, well, I would say the offense has got things turned around pretty quickly as they currently lead Wilmington by a score of 34-7 at the half. It has been a great game for their quarterback, the Muskies, in Jordan Garrett, 12 of 19 through the air, 233 passing yards, and 4 passing touchdowns. So the Muskies are clearly feeling good today. And finally, a game that is just about to go to half. Ohio Northern leading Otterbein by a score of 28-7. It's been a great day for the Polar Bear quarterback, Brody Hahn. 15-21 through the air. Does have an interception, but does have 3 passing touchdowns on the afternoon to go along with 213 passing yards. So those are your scores around the OAC. Meanwhile, a couple of games involving top 25 teams in Division I college football. We begin with what is turning into an absolute beatdown in the Southeastern Conference. Second-ranked Georgia making the trip to Nashville, Tennessee to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. And, folks, all I can say is poor Commodores. They're getting shellacked by Georgia right now to the tune of a 62-0 margin, and there's still 10:50 left to go in the fourth quarter of that one. Meanwhile, they're in the fourth quarter in Happy Valley. 6th-ranked Penn State leading Villanova in that one 38-10. 6:35 left to play in the fourth quarter of that one. The banner game of the day. They are about to go to the fourth quarter at Soldier Field. A college football clash between 12th-ranked Notre Dame and 18th-ranked Wisconsin. The Fighting Irish and the Badgers are going to be tied at 10 heading into the fourth quarter of that one. And finally, they have reached halftime down at Coastal Carolina. The 17th-ranked Chanticleers are currently shutting out the Minutemen of UMass 36-0. Quick timeout. When we come back, we'll examine the stats from the first half of our game. Marietta leading Capital by a score of 14-7. This is Capital Football on athletics.capital.edu. Back here at Bernlohr Stadium, still at halftime. Marietta leading Capital 14-7. I'm Charlie Danis, and it's time to take a look at some stats. Let's begin with the team stats from that first half. Marietta with 245 yards of total offense, 153 through the air, 92 on the ground. Meanwhile, for Capital, 171 yards of total offense, 134 of those yards coming through the air, 37 on the ground. Other miscellaneous team stats. Marietta 3 penalties for 17 yards. Capital 3 penalties for 25 yards. 15 minutes and 12 seconds worth of possession for Marietta. 14:48 for Capital. Third down conversions. Marietta 3 of 5. Capital 2 of 6. Marietta 1 of 2 on fourth down. Capital is yet to go for it on fourth down. Red zone chances, or scores out of chances. Marietta 2 of 2. Capital has gone 1 of 2. And that's it when it comes to the team statistics. Now on to the individual statistics. Let's begin with Marietta. Good first half for Bryce Agnew, the fourth leading rusher in the OAC, tallying 85 rushing yards on 15 carries, averaging 5.7 yards per pop with a long of 16 on the afternoon. The quarterback for Marietta, Connor Vierstra, going 18 of 25 through the air, 153 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, also has an interception on the day. His longest completion has gone for 18. Receiving, Austin Veach has been targeted 8 times, making 6 catches for 63 yards. Also has a receiving touchdown. McGuire Morris, he's got 4 catches for 23 yards. Bobby Kashaw has 3 receptions for 20 yards and a score. And Bryce Agnew, he's got a couple of catches for 23 yards. Leading tacklers for Marietta that first half were Drake Newberger and Vic Giovengo. Each of those fellows had 5. Newberger with half a sack and also a tackle for loss in that first half of play for Marietta. Now over to Capital. Leading rusher for the Purple and White was Drew Engel. Engel with 31 rushing yards on 6 carries, averaging 5.2 yards per pop, a long of 9. Lance Matthews, meanwhile, 4 carries for 5 yards. And Trevor Harrison-Ron, he had a couple carries that went for -2 rushing yards. Trevor Harrison-Ron was the guy who got the start at quarterback today for Capital. In that first half, he goes 4 of 10 through the air for 34 passing yards and a passing touchdown. Jake Wyke also earning some playing time at quarterback. 4 of 8 through the air, no touchdowns, 53 passing yards and interception. Sam Pickett, the wide receiver, he was able to get on the stat sheet throwing the football. He had a 47-yard completion on a nifty double reverse pass that took place in the second quarter of our game. Receiving wise, Cam Lee with 4 catches on 5 targets, 30 receiving yards, 2 catches for 58 yards for Noah Meeker. Mike Smith, 2 catches for 19 yards and a score. And Drew Engel, 1 catch that went for 27 yards. Nick Fasonic was all over the field defensively for Capital. He had 9 total tackles. It was also a very productive half for Louis Hurston. He had 8 tackles in that first half. The scoring summary looks like this. Marietta was able to jump out to an early 7-0 lead thanks to an 8-yard touchdown reception by Austin Veach. That gave Marietta a 7-0 lead with 9:50 to go in the first quarter. Marietta was then able to follow that up with another touchdown reception, this time by Clay Maston from 6 yards out. 4:34 left to play in the first quarter after that play was made. Capital then was able to get on the board for the first time, as Mike Smith hauled in a 10-yard touchdown reception from Harrison-Ron. That made it 14-7 with 14:50 left to play in the second quarter. And then things just kind of got weird from there. There was a point late in the second quarter where after Wyke was inserted as quarterback for the first time this afternoon for Capital, his first pass tipped high up in the air, intercepted by the Marietta defense. But then on the very next offensive play for the Pioneers, Marietta gave it right back. An interception in the end zone allowed Capital to get the ball back. Capital was then able to drive almost the length of the field. Got into a 3rd and goal situation. The pass was high to Mike Smith on the pass play on 3rd down. So the field goal unit came on for Capital. And that field goal attempt, which was basically a chip shot for Eric Noble, was blocked by Marietta. So the Pioneers got the ball back. Marietta, meantime, they drive down the field, and then they had a chance at a long field goal for their kicker, Matthew Haas. He was able to get the kick off, but then he missed it wide right. And so that is why we find ourselves with a 14-7 edge for Marietta heading into the second half here at Bernlohr Stadium. Both teams back onto the field, warming up, getting ready for the second half, and it should be a fun one as we get ready for more football to be played here in Bexley, Ohio. We'll take another break. When we come back, the start of the second half between Marietta and Capital. It's the Pioneers leading the purple and white 14-7. Heading into the second half, this is a presentation of Capital Football on athletics.capital.edu. Back here at Bernlohr Stadium as we are getting set for second half action here in Bexley. Coming out of halftime, it'll be Marietta leading Capital 14-7. And after today, Capital will head back on the road. They'll be at Baldwin Wallace next Saturday. That game is scheduled for a 1:30 kickoff. And then Capital will be playing host to 21st ranked John Carroll on October 9th. We'll have that game for you at 1:30. 1:30 is the kickoff time, and we'll have some pregame coverage beginning at 1:20 on that particular afternoon as the Blue Streaks come a-calling. In the meantime, some business to attend to for Capital. As the Crusaders are looking for their first win in OAC play in the Brian Foos era. They already accomplished the first win in the Brian Foos era at Capital, period, when they knocked off Defiance in week 1 of the season. And this is definitely a much better defensive effort here for Capital this week than it was last week, in which they got shredded by Heidelberg to the tune of 6 passing touchdowns. And you really got to credit Brian Foos' coaching staff, mainly the coaches on the defensive side. It was Marietta who came out with this warp speed type of pace offensively. They were able to take it down the field and score. And really, since that time, Marietta's had a tough time moving the ball against this Capital defense. So job well done by Coach Foos and his coaching staff for making the necessary adjustments. This is a high kick. It'll be taken at about the 30-yard line to the 35 and down to about the 36. As Noble's kick was taken by one of the up men. It was taken, as a matter of fact, by Aiden Wardzinski, the 5'9" freshman running back from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So as the sun shines brightly here at Bernlohr Stadium, out comes Marietta's offense to begin this second half. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Pioneers from their own 40-yard line. Connor Vierstra back in at quarterback for the Pioneers. And now a flag is thrown, and not the type of start you were looking for if you were Marietta. This will be a false start on the Pioneers. 5-yard penalty, 1st down, and thank goodness our head referee, Steve Grove, now knows how to turn his microphone off. He was having trouble with that in the second quarter of our game today. 1st and 15. Marietta at their own 35-yard line. Snap taken, hand to Agnew. Agnew rumbling ahead across the 35 down to about the 39-yard line. This will be a gain of 4 on the play. And things starting to get a little chippy down there between Marietta and Capital.
2nd and 11.
So now 2nd and 11 after the gain of 4. Vierstra in the shotgun, 4 wide, 3 to the near side, 1 to the far side. Agnew still on the tailback on Vierstra's left hip. Kashaw put in motion. Vierstra throwing. Agnew making the catch. Agnew tackled around the 45-yard line. As they were trying to set up a running back screen, on the far side, but a nice job defensively by senior linebacker Matt Lowofo out of the Miamisburg, Ohio area. 3rd and 5 now. Marietta at its own 45. 3 wide to the near side, 1 to the far side. Vierstra in the shotgun. Agnew on his left hip in the gun. Vierstra takes the snap, back to throw, and it's almost picked off and then caught into Capital territory. Making the catch was Clay Maston. Oh boy. What great hand-eye coordination exhibited by Clay Maston as he makes the catch off the tip. That easily could have been intercepted. Instead, it's 1st and 10 for Marietta from the Capital 49. Agnew with the run, and Agnew is stuffed. Nowhere to go for Agnew that time, as knifing his way in there was Jack Blaisdell, the senior from Hilltop, Ohio. So that'll end up being a loss of 2 for Agnew, probably the best defensive penetration we have seen by Capital on a Marietta run play. 2nd and 12 for Marietta from its own 49-yard line. Vierstra in the gun once again. 3 to the near side. Agnew still in a tailback. Vierstra back to throw. Looking, scrambling. Now stepping up. He's running around out towards midfield. And he is eventually escorted out of bounds by Capital's Michael Hoofstetter, the freshman defensive lineman from Lockbourne, Ohio. So the ball will be spotted at midfield. 3rd and 11 upcoming here for Marietta. Vierstra working with 4 wideouts, 3 to the near side, 1 to the far side. Agnew still in at tailback for the Pioneers. Bierstra barking out the signals. Now he takes a snap, back to throw, and a wobbler that is incomplete. I don't know if that hit the hand of Des Turkson, but man, Des came in there with great pressure off the edge, and that will force 4th down for Marietta. Good job by this Capital defense, as Michael Smith will get set to receive a punt here from Marietta. Smith will stand at his own 10-yard line as he awaits the punt from Bailey Sprague. 6'2", 220-pound senior. And this ball will hit at the 15. It'll roll inside the 10. And a great punt that time by Marietta as it is down at the 1-yard line. That had a weird hop once it hit the turf, and Michael Smith elected not to return it. And now Capital with its longest field to work with today. 11:50 to play in the 3rd quarter. Marietta up 14-7 over Capital. Capital still looking for its first win in OAC play. Marietta, meanwhile, looking to improve to 2-0 after they shut out Muskingum 18-0 last week. And the ball will be handed off to Matthews as it was spotted actually at the 21-yard line. Interesting, so a player for Marietta must have been in the end zone because I could have sworn that ball was down at the 1-yard line. Capital will certainly take it. Definitely have a lot more room to work with, that's for sure. Meanwhile, that was a loss of 1 on the last offensive play for Capital, so now it's 2nd and 11. Capital at its own 20-yard line. And the give is to Matthews once again. And Matthews will push his way forward, but he'll only be able to get it to the 22-yard line. Gain of 2 on the play as Trevor Harrison-Ron is back in at quarterback. We saw him split time with Jake Wyke. So now it sets up a 3rd and 9 for Capital from its own 22. Harrison-Ron telling the offensive lineman at the line of scrimmage what the play is going to be. 3 wideouts, 2 to the near side, 1 to the far side. Matthews still in a tailback. Harrison-Ron will run with it. 25, 30, 35, 40, out to the 45, and taken out of bounds at midfield. A burst of speed by Trevor Harrison-Ron and a big first down for Capital. And now a little up-tempo here for the Crusaders. 1st and 10 from the Capital 47-yard line. As Matthews will run it up the middle, and boy, right now Capital's having problems generating a lot of yardage in the run game, as that is only a gain of 1 to the Capital 48-yard line. 2nd and 9 upcoming here for Capital as Drew Engel will now come in for Lance Matthews at tailback. Trevor Harrison-Ron, the former Heidelberg student prince, now here at Capital. Takes the snap, hands to Engel. Engel to midfield, and that'll be about it. It'll only be about a gain of 2 on the play for Engel. And now another 3rd and long situation upcoming here for Capital. 3rd and 7. We're ticking under 9.5 to play in the 3rd quarter. Marietta 14, Capital 7. The purple and white trying to keep this offensive drive going. As Harrison-Ron looking to the sideline for some guidance. Now he has the play in mind. Cam Lee, Sam Pickett lined up on the near side. Pickett will be put in motion. And the snap and the throw caught by Pickett. Pickett's trying to stretch, and I think he's going to be short, but now flags are flying everywhere, which leads me to believe that there might be a face mask called against Marietta. Sam Pickett made the catch, And it looked like he was a yard short. Still awaiting the call here from our head referee, Steve Grove. Grove conferring with the rest of our officiating crew. As it stands right now, Pickett's about a yard or two short. And a block in the back is called against Capital. I think Steve Grove might have gotten his downs mixed up. That play occurred on third down. He said first down. There we go. So they will repeat third down after the penalty. The ball will be placed at the Capital 47-yard line. It's 3rd and 10 for Capital. Now let's see if Trevor Harrison-Ron has a big play coming up here. Graduate senior goes to the line of scrimmage, calling out the play. This is a tightly bound formation here. Engel still in at tailback. Back to pass, Harrison-Ron looking downfield, and he'll bluff a throw. He'll take it into Marietta territory, but he will be short by a couple yards. And the punt team looks like will come on for Capital. He had to get it to the 43-yard line, but the ball instead will be placed at the 48. So now Cam Lee will come out to punt the football away once again for Capital. Lee has been averaging a little over 30 yards per punt today. Gets it away. Caught at the 14. And doesn't yield much on the return there for Austin Veach. 7:32 to play in the third quarter. Marietta still leading Capital 14-7. Ball will be spotted at the Marietta 15-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Pioneers. Out trots once again Connor Vierstra. Agnew still in at tailback. Wide receiver put in motion. So now 3 wide on the near side. And a catch made at the 11, 15, 20, up to the 25, now down to the 26-yard line as the catch is made by McGuire Morris. James Curtis making the tackle for Capital. And now Marietta's going back to that warp speed, that up-tempo style. Agnew with the carry. And Agnew twisting, turning, as he gets it to the 32-yard line on the first down play. It'll be a gain of 6 on the play.
If you're the way forward of this ticket, please visit the concession stands or to see a member of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee to claim your winnings. Thank you to all who participated and supported the student athletes you've won.
And now 3 wideouts to the far side for Marietta. On the 2nd and 5 from the Pioneer 32. Vierstra once again on the shotgun. It's a pass play, it's a throw, and it's a miscommunication as that will fall incomplete. As Clay Maston was the intended target. Maston zigged while Vierstra was expecting him to zag that time.
3rd and 5 on the 32.
So now that leads to a 3rd and 5 for Marietta from its own 32-yard line. Vierstra once again in the shotgun. And once again Agnew out there at tailback for Marietta. 2 wide to the far side, 1 on the near side. But now Morris put in motion. So now all 3 wide receivers on the far side. Agnew, meanwhile, going right end. And Agnew bumped out of bounds at the 39-yard line. That'll be enough for a Pioneer first down. And a nice job there by Marietta. Because of them moving the third wide receiver to the far side of the field. That allowed Marietta to open up some more room on that right side for Bryce Agnew. Leading to another Pioneers first down. 1st and 10 for Marietta from their own 37. Vierstra with Agnew, and Agnew with the carry. He'll take it to the 40-yard line. That'll be a gain of 3 for Bryce Agnew, who, the way he's running the football, could be in for another 100-yard day. At last check of the stats, 20 carries for 98 yards, averaging just under 5 yards a pop. And he has just gone over 100 yards, making now 20 carries for 101 yards. That was the 5th time in the last 8 starts for Agnew that he has garnered 100 or more yards on the ground. This kid is a special talent at running back. 2nd and 7. Vierstra throws. Now Agnew makes the catch at the 39, and he'll be wrestled at the 40, and the ball is popped loose, but recovered by Marietta. Colton Neptune, the right tackle, jumping on that pigskin before someone in purple could grab it. So now it's 3rd down and 8 for Marietta from its own 39-yard line. Boy, that could have been disastrous right there for the Pioneers. Vierstra in the shotgun. 3 wideouts on the near side. Vierstra now going back to pass. He will throw, and it is complete, but well short of the first down. McGuire Morse making the catch, but Louis Hurston, Johnny on the spot, making the tackle on the far sideline, and that will bring up 4th down. Boy, I'll tell you what, Louis Hurston, the junior from Lima, Ohio, is having an excellent game for that defensive secondary of Capital. He has been all over the field today. He was one of the leading tacklers at halftime along with Nick Fasonic. Now the punt's away for Marietta. Michael Smith will take it at his own 19, almost dropped it. And he was able to keep possession. Eventually taken down at the 16-yard line, but oh boy, man, that could have been pretty bad for Capital. Instead, Smith holds on to the football, and Capital will maintain possession. And now a penalty called against Marietta. It was a legal motion on the kicking team. At least that's the explanation that we got from our head referee, Steve Grove, who quite honestly has had all sorts of issues with his mic today. The communication with this refereeing crew has not been exactly crisp, and that's putting it nicely. Now it looks as though that everything is sorted out. And so this will move the ball to the 22. So now it is 1st and 10 for Capital from its own 22-yard line. And it'll be a toss to Engel. Engel getting some good yardage. Little spin move as he takes it to the 26. That'll be a gain of 4 for Drew Engel, redshirt freshman out of Lorain, Ohio. And Capital looking to speed up the tempo a little bit. And this will be a free play, a jump, and Cam Lee not able to make the catch as it's batted away by Tay Pryor. But this will be an obvious offsides penalty on Marietta. Kyle Gallagher is the one that will be whistled for the offsides penalty. So now it'll be 2nd and 5. The ball will be spotted at the Capital 32. Actually, that will result in a 1st down. 1st and 10 for Capital at their own 32-yard line. Harrison Ron running for his life, and he'll eventually be taken down back at the 31-yard line. Well, I tell you what, Kyle Gallagher and Drake Newberger just came screaming off the edge that time. As Harrison Ron was taken down, results in a loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Actually, 2nd and 10, excuse me. Ball at the 31-yard line. Harrison Ron throwing, and it's almost picked off by Tate Pryor. The intended target was Mike Smith, and there was a miscommunication there, as that was another near turnover for Capital. And that is not the guy that you want to make a mistake with, that being Tate Pryor, 5'9", 155-pound senior from Canton, Ohio. Talked about how coming into this game he was tied for 3rd among active NCAA players, Division 1, 2, and 3, and career passes defended with 47. He likes to get his hands on the football. 3rd and 10 for Capital from their own 32. Harrison Ron with the play action. Now he's running to his right. A flag has been thrown. He'll uncork a deep pass, and that is complete to Sam Pickett at about the 39-yard line of Marietta. The problem is a flag was thrown back at the Capital 29, and that play will be wiped out due to a holding penalty. So Capital will now have to bring it back. They will have to back up 10 yards after the holding penalty, and that hurts. Harrison Ron making an excellent play right there, and Sam Pickett making an excellent catch on the receiving end, but got to replay 3rd down once again because of the holding penalty. So now the ball will be placed at the 22 of Capital, setting up a 3rd and 20 for the Crusaders. What do you draw up here on 3rd and 20? This has got to be a play somewhere in the back of that Capital playbook. Hopefully it'll work in this situation. 4 wide for Capital. Harrison Ron in the shotgun. He'll take the snap, trying to set up a screen, and Smith making the catch, but he is easily corralled around the 24-yard line. Vic Giovengo, the senior linebacker from Benwood, West Virginia.
Brings up 4th down for Capital.
He makes the play there defensively, and now Capital will yet again have to punt the football away. Back to receive for Marietta is Austin Veach. Veach standing at his own 39. Lee taking the snap. This might be the best punt of the day for Lee, as it'll be fair caught at the 31-yard line. Good job by Cam Lee that time as Veach fair catches the ball at the Marietta 31. And that is where Marietta will begin their drive.
Capital Athletics wishes to send a warm welcome to all the prospective students and athletes on campus today.
Quick check of some scores around the OAC. Still tied between Baldwin Wallace and Heidelberg, this time at 10, however, with 1:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Mountain Union continues to lengthen its lead over John Carroll, 28-7, 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Muskingum blowing out Wilmington 41-7 with 8:49 left to play in the 3rd, and Ohio Northern doing the same against Otterbein 35-7, 6.5 to play in the 3rd quarter. This is a carry by Aiden Wardzinski, and the freshman with a good gain on the plays. He takes it across the 35 down to the 37. That'll be a gain of 6.
2nd down
On the play,
and 4 on the 37.
Wardzinski, a freshman from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Marietta tends to get a lot of players from Steel City. 2nd and 4. Marietta at its own 37. Wardzinski with another carry, as he will eventually be taken down to the 41, and that'll be enough for a Pioneers 1st down. So this is really the first time all game that we haven't seen Bryce Agnew toting the rock for an extended period of time. It has been Agnew all the way. He's got 20 carries, 101 rushing yards. Perhaps Marietta's just giving their bell cow of a runner a little bit of a breather here on this particular drive. It'll be 1st and 10 now for Marietta from its own 41. 51 seconds and counting in this third quarter. Bierstra in the gun, and he'll take the snap. And the ball is loose, and it's recovered by Capital. Wardzinski lost the ball, and it was picked up by James Curtis. Another turnover for Marietta, and new life for the Capital offense. Still 40 seconds to play in the third quarter. Marietta leading Capital 14-7. Boy, this game has seen a lot of weird bounces. But Capital will certainly take that bounce. That's the defensive unit clapping it up on the Capital sidelines. One thing I really enjoy watching about this Capital team, the players and the coaches, they play this game, they coach this game with a high level of enthusiasm. 1st and 10 for Capital from the Marietta 47, and a sack. Newbarger gets back in there and throws down Jake Wyke like a rag doll. There's a reason why Drake Newbarger is one of the best pass rushing specialists in the OAC. And that is probably going to be the last play of the third quarter. 7 seconds, 6 seconds. I'd be very surprised if Capital is able to get a playoff here. And that will take us to the end of the third quarter. It's a scoreless quarter. We head to the fourth quarter, where Marietta will be leading Capital 14-7. This is your home for Capital Football, athletics.capital.edu. Off to the fourth quarter we go. Marietta leading Capital 14-7. Welcome back to Bernlohr Stadium, everybody. I'm Charlie Danis, and this has been a very exciting game. Wyke back in at quarterback for Capital. Engel trying to make a man miss, and he does. 45, midfield. 45 into Marietta territory. Oh, baby. Drew Engel. Well, a nice move that time. Just gives a little shoulder shrug to the Capital sideline. There was an audible O coming from that Capital sideline, and why not? Big time move made by Engel. And now sets up a third and manageable here for Capital after the massive sack by Newbarger. So it's 3rd and 3. The ball is spotted at the Marietta 40-yard line. Matthews and Engel in at tailback, a receiver to each side of the field. Wyke takes the snap, looking, throwing, and it's incomplete. He had a man open in Christian Riley, the freshman tight end, but threw it out of the reach of Riley. And now, as I mentioned before quite a few times tonight, Capital will have to punt the football away.
Number 13, Austin Vietch, back to receive the punt from number 7, Cameron Lee.
So Cam Lee gets set for another punt. Austin Veach back to return for Marietta, sitting at his own 6-yard line. Lee, high punt. Fair catch by Veach. It bounces, and it's finally down at the 12-yard line. 14:09 left to play in the fourth quarter. Marietta leading Capital 14-7. Didn't have a single score in the third quarter.
First and 10 on the 12-yard line.
So now we get to see what happens here in the final quarter of regulation. So it'll be first and 10 for Marietta from its own 12-yard line. 3 wide receiver set. Vierstra. Hands off. It's a run play that gets blown up. It was a handoff to Dawson Snyder. Unfortunately, Snyder had the displeasure of meeting up with Kobe Swackhammer in the backfield. So that's going to be a loss of 2 on the play, as Marietta was trying a little trickeration that time. So now second and 12 upcoming for Marietta. All spotted at the 10-yard line of the Pioneers. Vierstra. Hands off to Agnew. 15, 20, 25, 30. Out across the 30, down to the 32-yard line. The longest run of the afternoon for Bryce Agnew. And a big first down there for the Pioneers. Marietta will now hurry it up a bit here on this first and 10 from their own 32. They give to Agnew once again, and Agnew is dropped at the 30. Jack Blaisdell making the play defensively for Capital. So that will lead to a 2-yard loss. Second and 12 for Marietta. A receiver to the near side, 2 to the far side. Agnew still in at tailback. Vierstra awaiting the snap from his center. Now a man is put in motion. Vierstra now takes the snap. Pressure, gets rid of it. Agnew makes the catch. 30, 35, 40. And he will eventually be taken down at the 45-yard line. Boy, Bryce Agnew, he's gotten loose. Once on a run, another time on a pass play right there, and another big-time first down for the Pioneers, as they are looking to add to their 14-7 lead here. 12-19 left to play in the fourth quarter. 3 wideouts. Vierstra hands to Agnew once again. Agnew with a good pickup on the play as he rumbles ahead of the 49-yard line. Some good blocking up front by that Marietta offensive line, as it had a couple of Capital defenders on the ground. So gain of 4 on the last play. The ball placed at the Marietta 49-yard line. Vierstra in the pistol. 2 wideouts to the far side, 1 to the near side. Agnew, his tailback, right behind him. Vierstra back to throw. Agnew making another catch out of the backfield. A little stiff arm as well, as he will take it into Capital territory. The ball will be marked at the 48-yard line. And a third down upcoming here for Marietta's offense. Ball will be spotted at the 48 of Capital, setting up a 3rd and 3 for the Pioneers. 11-19 and counting in the fourth quarter. Marietta 14, Capital 7. Vierstra in the pistol. 2 wideouts to his right, 1 to his left. Agnew, who's been very crucial on this particular drive. Couple of catches, a long run. He's on Vierstra's left hip in the gun. Vierstra with a quick throw, and it's incomplete, and a late flag is thrown. They are going to get Malik Davis for pass interference. He was defending on the play against Clay Maston. Some fans in the stands arguing that that ball wasn't catchable. And the penalty is going to be waved off. I guess a glad hand from the Capital fans. Meanwhile, the Pioneer faithful probably none too pleased with that correction. And so now it's 4th and 3. And is Marietta thinking about going for it? I think they thought about it, but Pioneers think better of it, and now they will punt it away. Michael Smith will stand at about his 11-yard line. On to punt away is Sprague. Sprague with a high arcing kick inside the 15, bouncing inside the 10, rolling, all the way down to the 5-yard line. Good punt by Sprague. And it's getting to be that time where it is now or never for Capital. 10:45 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Trailing Marietta 14-7. We've seen Capital move the ball today, but those drives have been short-circuited by a couple of turnovers. There was one drive in particular towards the end of the first half where Capital settled for a field goal attempt only for it to be blocked. So now back out goes the Capital offense. 1st and 10 from the 6-yard line. Jake Whitekey, junior from Cincinnati, takes the snap. He will throw. Screen set up. Smith with the catch as he will take it to the 7-yard line.
Making the tackle, number 3, Darius Hatch, 2nd and 9.
And Smith might be having some issues maybe with a contact, and he elects to go down to one knee as a time will be called for what looks to be an injured player. I don't think Smith is hurt necessarily, but I think that he's having issues perhaps with a contact as he was fiddling around with something involving his eye. So now he'll head to the sideline to get that checked out. In the meantime, 2nd and 9. The ball spot at the Capital 7-yard line. Capital's got to get out from under the shadow of its own goalpost here. And give us to Matthews, and Matthews is instantly stacked up. Might be getting a yard on this play due to forward progress, but Drake Newberger was right there. And I mean right there to clog up the middle.
Brings up 3rd down. 3rd and 10 on the 6.
So no gain on the play. 3rd and 9. Capital at its own 6-yard line. And boy, the last thing you want to do if you're Capital is give Marietta a short field to work with. It would be great if Capital were able to convert this 3rd down. Jake Whitekey back to throw. And he gets rid of it at the last moment. That was very close to being a safety. And now the officials are discussing whether or not that was intentional grounding, and a flag has now been thrown in the end zone.
Intentional grounding in the end zone, number 11. Results in a safety.
So that will indeed be intentional grounding called against Capital. The foul occurred in the end zone, therefore it is a safety. Add 2 more points on the board for Marietta. It's now 16-7 in favor of the Pioneers, and now Capital will be forced to kick off to Marietta. Well, obviously a very tough situation there. The rush by Marietta was just too much for Jake Whitekey, and initially it looked as though that he might have had a wide receiver in the area on the far side as it skipped to the turf, but in the referee's estimation, that was intentional grounding. 2 more points up on the scoreboard for Marietta, and now they have a 9-point lead with 9:22 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Capital's got to be careful here with this free kick upcoming as Cam Lee will don the kicking duties here for Capital. Back to receive for Marietta, Austin Veach. And it looks like Dawson Snyder. Kick is away by Lee. Veach will take it at his own 29. 30, 35, 40, 45, midfield, 45. Little spin move, and he's eventually taken out of the Capital 41-yard line. Well, if there was ever a time for a defensive stand by Capital, this would be it. Great field position upcoming here for the Marietta offense with 9:14 remaining in the fourth quarter and a 9-point lead.
Pioneers have the ball, first and 10 on the 44.
The ball will be spotted at the 44-yard line of Capital, where it'll be first and 10 for Marietta. 4 wide receivers set. Agnew, the tailback. Fierstra, the quarterback. He'll take the snap. He'll hand to Agnew. Agnew will run forward, and he'll be taken down at the 42. And this is where having a running back like Agnew can be so important for a team like Marietta, where they have the 9-point lead. You hand off to Agnew. He'll pick up yards for you. He'll help you chew up some clock as well. That was a 2-yard gain by Agnew. That run defense has definitely got to get a little stiffer here for Capital here in the late going. Vierstra taking the snap. It's a play action. A throw down the field, and it is caught inside the 15, down to about the 12-yard line. Making the catch, the tight end, Bobby Kashaw, the senior from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. First down, and a handoff to Agnew inside the 10, inside the 5, and he's down at the 1-yard line. Nearly took it into the end zone, was trying to stretch at the end of that play, couldn't quite reach it. So now it's first and goal at the Capital 1-yard line. Marietta quickly to the line. And now Veach looking to change up the play. He has got Agnew right behind him. If they don't hand the ball off to Agnew, I'll be shocked, as Agnew will run, and he is stuffed. This will be a loss of 1. He'll be dropped at the 2-yard line.
Second and goal on the 1-yard line. Correction, 2-yard line.
So now it leads to second and goal. After the loss of 1, the ball will be placed at the Capital 2-yard line. Agnew right behind Bierza. Again, the same thing I'll say for this upcoming down as I did the last down. If they don't hand the ball to Agnew, I'll be shocked. He's had a great game running the football. They will hand to Agnew. Agnew trying to go forward, and he is just stopped at the 1-yard line. Jack Blaisdell among a host of Capital defenders, taking Agnew just before he gets to the goal line. Third and goal from the Capital 1-yard line. Agnew behind Vierstra. 2 receivers to each side of the field. Vierstra hands to Agnew. Agnew is stuffed at the 1-yard line. Chad Davis knifing in. Luafo also making the tackle. All right, now it is decision time here for head coach Andy Waddle in his 9th season as head coach of Marietta. Do you go for it? Do you settle for the field goal? With Marietta being the road team, oftentimes you got to take chances. Marietta will go for it. 4th and goal. The ball on the Capital 1-yard line. The snap, the hand to Agnew. No, Vierstra keeps it, and he saunters into the end zone. Touchdown, Pioneers. Capital sold out on a run up the middle by Agnew, but a great play call by Vierstra as he took the ball himself, and he goes into the end zone. for a big touchdown for Marietta. That's just simply great play calling right there by the Pioneers. A little misdirection, and it results in a rushing touchdown from 1 yard out for Vierstra. Haas on for the extra point. The snap, and the kick is good, but a flag thrown at about the 5 yard line. Encroachment on Capital, and the penalty is declined. So now the score is Marietta 23, Capital 7, with 5:54 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Fans, we remind you to be respectful of each other, to be proud and loud and positive.
Boy, things not only getting chippy down on the field, but also chippy in the stands as well. So Haas getting set to kick things away, and boy, what a turnaround it's been here for Marietta. 9 points, first a safety, and then following that up with a 1 yard rushing touchdown by their quarterback, Connor Vierstra. A return to about the 18 yard line by Lance Matthews.
Making the tackle, number 26, Boone Jones.
And so Capital's offense getting back, going to get back onto the field.
On the 18-yard line.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Capital from its own 18-yard line. Capital trailing Marietta 23-7. With 5:50 left to play. Back in at quarterback is Trevor Harrison-Ron. Ron up the field, and it is incomplete. Had Mike Smith going up the seam that time, but Michael Smith not able to make the catch. So now that leads to 2nd and 10. Capital at its own 18-yard line. Drew Engel back in with the funky Wildcat formation. Engel will take it himself. And he'll take it to about the 17. Well, that should be a loss of 1 on the play. So it sets up 3rd and 11. Ball spotted at the Capital 17-yard line. Harrison-Ron with the throw, and the pass incomplete. Harrison-Ron was trying to hit Ben Zerby, the freshman from Bellbrook, Ohio, on the pass, but a little too high and outside.
4th and 11 on the 17.
And yet again, Capital will have to punt the football away.
Number 13, Austin Viench, back deep to receive the punt for number 7, Cameron Lee.
The only score of the game for Capital has been a 10-yard touchdown reception by Mike Smith, but that came all the way back in the beginning stages of the second quarter. Since then, the Capital offense has struggled. Cam Lee with the punt, taken by Veach at the 40, and he's instantly dropped. That was great coverage that time by Ben Zerby. Zerby, the native of Bellbrook, Ohio, flying in there and making the play on special teams. So now 4:49 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Marietta leading Capital 23-7. And I would expect a heavy dose of Bryce Agnew. Agnew's had a heck of a game today, 137 rushing yards on 28 carries, averaging 4.9 yards per tote. 1st and 10 for Marietta from its own 38. The handoff to Agnew. Agnew to the 40, 45. Across the 45, all the way up to the 47-yard line. And just like that, a gain of 9 for Agnew, who has his 5th game of 100 or more yards in his last 8 starts. Came in here as the 4th leading rusher in the OAC. And it looks like he'll stay in the top 5 in that statistical category in the conference headed into play next week. 2nd and 1, Marietta at zone 47. And a fake as Vistra keeps it himself, and he'll take it all the way down to the Capital 45-yard line. Vistra was able to fake out the Capital defense, taking it in from 1 yard out on the last offensive drive for Marietta, and he does something similar there, picking up another 1st down for the Pioneers as we tick under 4 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Marietta leading Capital 23-7. Vistra taking the snap, handing to Agnew. Agnew, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Bryce Agnew is gone. Touchdown, Marietta. It was only a matter of time before Bryce Agnew was going to find the end zone in this game, considering all the yardage he had racked up on the ground for this Pioneers offense. The first rushing touchdown of the day for Agnew, who now has 191 yards on the ground today. That last rush going for 45. Snap back, hold down, kick is up, and it is good by Matt Haas. 3:39 left to play in the 4th quarter. We take a quick break with Marietta leading Capital 30-7. This is Capital Football on athletics.capital.edu. Back here at Bernlohr Stadium, 3:39 left to play in the 4th quarter. A 45-yard touchdown scamper by Bryce Agnew has lengthened the Marietta lead to 30-7 over Capital. And the kickoff will be fair caught by Sam Pickett. Capital's offense will be coming back onto the field starting at their own 20. Want to give you a quick update from the world of Division I college football. There's a final at Soldier Field, and it ends up with Notre Dame defeating 18th ranked Wisconsin by a final of 41-13. This was a close game, but get this, Notre Dame outscoring Wisconsin 31-3 in the 4th quarter. So now the Fighting Irish, they got to get set for a big home game next week against the 8th-ranked Cincinnati Bearcats, a team that a lot of college football prognosticators said at the beginning of the year might be the one Group of 5 team with the best chance of making the college football playoff. So big win for Notre Dame today. 1st and 10 as Harrison Ron will throw, and that pass is incomplete as he was trying to find Sam Pickett on the near sideline. Well, to say that it's been a struggle for the Capital offense today, that's an understatement. Harrison Ron, 5 of 15 through the air. Does have a passing touchdown, but only 40 passing yards. In terms of team statistics, only 66 yards on the ground for Capital, and only 155 passing yards for the purple and white today. 2nd and 10. The Crusaders, Capital, at their own 25, and that's a fumble. Newbarger came behind and blasted Harrison Ron, and it looks like Marietta might have possession here. And they do. Kyle Gallagher is the one that eventually comes up with the loose football. So Marietta will now get the ball back with 3:25 left to play. And the Pioneers already leading Capital in this one 30-7. So Marietta will have possession, 1st and 10 at the Capital 16-yard line following the fumble recovery. Bryce Agnew, I think, has officially been given the rest of the day off. As now Hayden Tanner comes in at running back, and Tanner with a carry, exhibiting some tough running there as he takes it inside the 10 down to the 9-yard line. Hayden Tanner, he is a freshman running back from Smithville, Ohio. 5'11", 195-pounder.
2nd and 3 on the 9.
And I think at this point, Marietta is just wanting to run the clock as much as they can. They already have this game well in hand. It is rather interesting, though, that they still have Connor Vierstra in there at quarterback. Would have thought they would have gone to the backup signal caller at this point. It's another run by Hayden Tanner, and he'll take it inside the 10 down to the 7-yard line, excuse me. So it'll only be a gain of 2, and this will bring up a 3rd and short situation for Marietta as we tick under 2.5 to play.
3rd down and 1 yard on the 7.
So it'll be 3rd and 1 for Marietta from the Capital 7-yard line. And Marietta's trying to let more and more time tick off. In the meantime, Viestra with the carry, and he will lunge into the end zone. It's another touchdown for Marietta. And boy, this has turned out to be a good day for Marietta quarterback Connor Viestra. Viestra with 2 passing touchdowns, and now his 2nd rushing touchdown of the day. On for the point after once again is Matthew Haas. Snap back, hold down, kick is on the way, and it is good. 1:51 left to play in the 4th quarter, and it looks like Marietta will be well on its way to its 2nd win in OAC play. 37-7 in favor of the Pioneers at this point. With the win today, Marietta will move to 2-1 overall, 2-0 in OAC play. Meanwhile, for Capital, they will drop to 1-2 overall and 0-2 within OAC play. And unfortunately for Capital, it's not going to get any easier. Baldwin Wallace is always tough. That's the next game for Capital. They'll be at B-Dub next Saturday, October 2nd. That game is scheduled for a 1:30 kickoff. Following that game, Capital will welcome in 21st ranked John Carroll. That game is scheduled for a 1:30 kickoff as well. That's on October 9th. And then right after that game, October 16th, Capital hits the road once again, taking on a top 5 Mount Union team, number 4 nationally, to be more specific. Purple Raiders and the Crusaders tingling with one another up in Alliance, Ohio, on October 16th, beginning at 1:30. If that isn't the meat of the OAC schedule, I don't know what is. Haas will kick it away for Marietta, as Pickett will once again fair catch it. And Capital will now come out to its own 20. Minute 51 remaining in this game, and this was a close game. It was a close game that got out of hand very quickly here in the fourth quarter. 23 unanswered points by Marietta here in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter alone, there's been a safety. I'll talk about the other plays in just a moment, as it's a run play off to the left, taken to about the 25-yard line. In the fourth quarter alone, there was a safety that made it a 16-7 game. Connor Vierstrup takes it in from 1 yard out. Bryce Agnew with a 45-yard rushing touchdown, and then a 7-yard rushing touchdown by Vierstrup. That is what has led Marietta to balloon this lead to where it stands right now. It's a run play. Off left tackle, Drew Engel with the carry. 56 seconds and counting. Well, this will definitely go down as a disappointing day for head coach Brian Foose and his Capital squad. They were in this game. They were definitely competing for Marietta. They had a chance entering the fourth quarter, but it was an avalanche. Marietta making plays defensively, and that offense just taking over, particularly with that run game. Bryce Agnew with another standout game at that tailback position for Marietta, as Engel will take it forward to the Capital 28-yard line. And that will be the final play of the afternoon. Well, it was a close ball game the majority of the time, but in the end, it will end up being a blowout victory for Marietta. A 23-point outburst in the fourth quarter allows Marietta to pull away with a final score of 37-7 over Capital. With the win, Marietta improves to 2-1 overall, 1-1 with an OAC play. With the loss, Capital drops to 1-2 overall and 0-2 with an OAC play. Stay tuned. We'll have post-game coverage from Bernlohr Stadium as we take a look at the final stats and get you set for the coming weeks for Capital football as they will enter the meat of their OAC schedule. Again, the final score from Bernlohr Stadium, Marietta 37, Capital 7. This has been a presentation of Capital football on athletics.capital.edu. Welcome back to Bernlohr Stadium. The final today, Marietta 37, Capital 7. It sounds like a dominating day for Marietta, but when you look closer at this game, it was much, much closer between Capital and the Pioneers. This was a 14-7 game, as a matter of fact, heading into the fourth quarter. But a 23-point outburst allows Marietta to pick up its second win in OAC play as they improve to 2-1 overall, 2-0 in OAC play. Capital with the loss drops to 1-2 and 0-2. We'll examine the stats of this game in just a moment, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and get you caught up with final scores around the Ohio Athletic Conference. We begin at Baldwin-Wallace, where the Yellow Jackets are victorious over Heidelberg, the final being B-Dub 20 and the Berg 10. Keegan Armitage going 9 of 12 at the quarterback position for Baldwin-Wallace, 103 passing yards and a passing touchdown. It was also a good day for running backs John Murray Jr. and Jack Gibson, both of those guys going over 100 yards rushing, and John Murray Jr. also tallying a rushing touchdown in that win for the Yellow Jackets. Elsewhere around the OAC, Mount Union comes away with a 28-14 win over John Carroll. That was a matchup of top 25 teams. Mount Union ranked number 4, John Carroll ranked number 21. The Purple Raiders defeating the Blue Streaks on this day today. Little over 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and Muskingum is all over Wilmington, 62-14. And this is a week after Muskingum was shut out by this Marietta team that we saw on the field today here in Bexley. What a day it has been for Muskingum quarterback Jordan Garrett, 16 of 24 through the air, 292 passing yards and 4 passing touchdowns. And finally, Ohio Northern all over Otterbein. Polar Bears blowing out the Cardinals today by a final of 56-7. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the team statistics from this game today. Rushing yardage, Marietta with a big advantage in that statistical category, 238 rushing yards on the day for the Pioneers, as opposed to only 60 rushing yards on the day for Capital. 5.8 yards per carry for Marietta today, as that run game was quite potent for the Pioneers. 229 passing yards for Marietta, meanwhile, 155 for Capital. Yards per play, Marietta 5.99, so just under 6 yards. Capital 3.84. Couple interceptions thrown, one by each team. Couple fumbles lost by each team as well. Penalties, Marietta 6 for 32, Capital 6 for 45. Time of possession, Marietta ends up winning that. 32-35 for the Pioneers as opposed to 25-34 for Capital. And then third down efficiency. Marietta going 6 of 12 on third downs. Capital only 3 of 13. And fourth downs, Capital never went for it on fourth down today. Marietta, meanwhile, going 2 of 3 on fourth down. Now on to the individual statistics. Let's begin with Marietta. It was a great day for quarterback Connor Vierstra. Vierstra going 26 of 36 through the air. That's good for 72%. 229 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, did throw an interception, and he also had a couple of rushing touchdowns, 4 carries for 17 yards, and a couple of scores. Receiving-wise, Austin Veach was the leading receiver for Marietta on this day, 6 catches, 63 yards, and a score. Averaged 10.5 yards per catch with a long of 18. It's also a good day for the tight end, Bobby Kashaw. The Aliquippa native, the senior, 4 catches, 51 yards. Bryce Agnew, the running back, we'll get to his day running the football in just a moment, but first he had 6 catches for 45 yards. 6 catches for 40 yards for McGuire Morris. And finally, Clay Maston, 2 catches for 12 yards, and that included a touchdown snag in this game. Another great game running the football for Bryce Agnew. For the 5th time in his last 8 games played, he gains well over 100 yards on the ground Today he was 9 yards away from reaching the 200-yard plateau. He settles for 191 rushing yards on 30 carries, 6.4 yards on the ground, did have a score, and that score went for 45 yards on that particular scamper. So another great day running the football for Bryce Agnew. Now on to the offensive statistics for Capital. Today getting the start at quarterback was Trevor Harrison Ron. Harrison Ron going 5 of 15 through the air. Going 5 of 15 through the air for 40 yards. Only completing 33% of his passes. And he did have a touchdown pass in this game. Cam Lee with 4 catches for 30 yards. Michael Smith, 3 catches for 20 yards and a score. And Sam Pickett, 1 catch for 6 yards. In terms of running the football, Harrison Ron, 6 attempts, I should say, for 20 yards, no score. And for Lance Matthews, 8 carries for a net total of 6 yards on the day. Let's tell you how this game unfolded from a scoring standpoint. We go all the way back to the first quarter. It was Marietta jumping out to an early 7-0 lead thanks to a receiving touchdown by Austin Veach. That gave Marietta an early 7-0 lead. Capital was able to come back with a field goal to make it a 7-3 game, but then Marietta was able to respond with another receiving touchdown, this time caught by Maston. That made it a 14-3 lead for Marietta. And then a scoreless third quarter. Neither team scored. It was 14-7. Heading into the fourth quarter of this game. But then it was an avalanche that Capital was never able to really recover from. Jake Wyke, who split time with Trevor Harrison Ron at quarterback, went back to pass and threw an incomplete pass from the end zone that was nowhere near a Capital receiver. Wyke was called for intentional grounding. The foul occurred in the end zone. That led to a safety. Capital then had to free kick it back to Marietta per the rules. And another productive drive for Marietta as Vierstra was able to scamper in from 1 yard out. That made it 9 points in favor of Marietta. But the scoring was just getting started for Marietta at that point. That was soon followed by a 45-yard touchdown run by Bryce Agnew, and then another rushing touchdown by Connor Vierstra. And all in all, it ended up being a 23-point outburst for Marietta as they were able to pull away for the win. Like we said, with the win today, Marietta moving to 2-1 overall and 2-0 within OAC play. Capital, meanwhile, dropping to 1-2 overall and 0-2 within OAC play. So with this game behind them, Capital is now going to have to start getting ready for Baldwin Wallace. They'll be playing the Yellow Jackets at B-Dub coming up next Saturday on October 2nd. That game is scheduled for a 1:30 kickoff. Tune in to athletics.capital.edu. We won't have the play-by-play for you, but you'll be able to follow along with live stats and a link to their broadcast, so you'll be able to follow along with that game. We'll be back with our own broadcast here at Bernlohr Stadium coming up on October 9th. When Capital welcomes in 21st ranked John Carroll. That game is scheduled for a 1:30 kickoff. We will begin with some pregame coverage beginning at 1:20 that afternoon. This is Charlie Daniels saying one final time, the final score today from Bernlohr Stadium. It is Marietta 37, Capital 7. We hope that you have enjoyed this presentation of Capital Football. Athletics.capital.edu. So long from Bexley, Ohio.